everyone from Nourish Nation and Fit Tribe United. We are going to have our call this evening, June 13th, on writing effective posts to help engage people and also to help people get to know who you are, and basically just start forming relationships. Let me give you a little bit of background about why this is really a subject that I'm interested in. When I was in college, I went for teaching, and I went back for my master's, and it was actually in English, in writing and reading for teachers. And so a lot of that was about using your voice when you're writing. I know that basically that means you write how you talk so that your personality comes out in whatever you're writing. And I know through our social media posts that using our voice is really important because it helps connect people to who we are. It helps us not sound dry or boring, but it helps people connect to who you are. And so I'm going to share a couple of things that I've learned through my teaching, and then also that I've learned through another coach who did a similar call on this topic. And it was like the best call that I have ever listened to because it really structured how I wrote my posts so that people would actually read them. And that's important not only because it helps them connect with us, but the more people that stop and read the post, the more that Facebook will push it out to other people. So we want engagement so that more people see it. And, Facebook has all these algorithms that, if people just look at your post and whatever the algorithm is, it helps push it out to other people. Commenting also pushes it out to other people. When people share your post, they push it out to more people. So you want likes, comments, shares, and honestly, you really want people to read your post. So sometimes the longer posts are more effective because people have to stop and they have to click the see more button, and that tells Facebook to show it to more people. I've had a couple of posts where only 1 or 2 people have liked it, but it has shown to way more people than a post that got like 20 likes. So it's important that people are reading what you're writing. Okay, so I want to share my screen. And let's see, here we go. So you should see power of the post. You guys all see that? You shouldn't be able to read anything yet, but can you see the power of the post up there?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So when thinking about what you want to post, here are some questions I want you to think about, okay? Because every single one of our posts is a part of our brand, which means who we are. We want to put out posts that are us, because we want to connect with people who are like us. There are so many coaches, but there's only one you, okay? And people come to you because of your personality, and that will come through in your posts. So what should you post about? So here's some questions I want you to, you can either write them down or, think about your answers, but think about what describes your personality. So for me, I'm very involved in my faith. Friends are really important to me. Being active, playing soccer, running races, those are all things that combined make up who I am. And so a lot of my posts will be about that. They'll be about being a mom, having kids, trying to help my kids be healthier. Those are all things that describe me. Those are also my interests. I wouldn't necessarily attract someone who's into gangster rap, obviously. That's not my personality. And that would not come through in my posts. So I want to connect with people who are like me, and they get that by seeing what my interests are. I like to post about my life experiences. So things that I have gone through, like some struggles that I've gone through and come out ahead on. Maybe some traveling that I've done and what I've learned. All of that, again, helps connect me to people who are like me. The last one that you see there is, what message do you want to convey? Okay, think about that. When you put a post out there, what are you trying to tell people? Or what are you trying to share with people? Are you most interested in being a mom that can share some healthy recipes with her kids? Are you into races? Are you, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, every single post should be about your brand, okay? So this is the part that I want to probably spend a good amount of time on, is crafting a good post. Honestly, I spend a lot of time crafting my posts, probably too much time. I am a perfectionist, but I like it to be like just right. And some things that I have used consistently over time that seem to work pretty well is starting off with an attention-grabbing statement. It's like the one thing that you want people to look at and they stop their scroll. Now, generally, I try to make this a one-sentence attention-grabbing statement. And I'm going to show you some examples in a little bit. But what I want you to look at is that it is one thing that the whole rest of your post is going to be about. A lot of times, for me, it's like my most vulnerable statement. Like, recently I wrote a post that said something like, in high school, my nickname was Thunder Thighs Thornton. Like, obviously no girl wants to be called Thunder Thighs. And so that was kind of my attention-grabbing statement. And so my goal is to have them stop their scroll and read the rest of the post. So start with that statement. Now, the second thing is to think about appropriately spacing out your paragraphs. I don't know how many times you've looked at a post in Facebook and it's all squunched into one like big lump. It seems overwhelming to read that whole thing, where if that person would have just put some spacing in their paragraphs, it would have been a lot easier on the eyes, because we're kind of always jumping down to see what the next thing is. And it just kind of like gives some pauses, some breaks. And so just make sure that you don't have big globs of paragraphs. You know, I try to not do more than 4 or 5 sentences in a paragraph, but even less sometimes. And I'll show you some examples about that. And then number 3, I kind of already talked about, is use your voice. So if you have written out a post, before you hit send, I want you to ask yourself, does this sound like me? Or does it maybe sound dry? Does it sound like robotic? I want you to kind of write it like you're telling a friend the story, or, you know, telling the friend whatever it is you're trying to convey, because the way we talk is the way we should write to get out and connect with people, okay? So above all, I want you to appeal to people's emotions, okay? You know, we can put out as many facts and article links and what, you know, just nonfiction that we want, but it doesn't necessarily connect people to who we are. What connects people to who we are is evoking some kind of emotion within them. You know, I've heard the quote, it's something like, in order to lead, you need to grab their heart before you grab their hand. People are looking for a leader, but they want to feel like you're connecting with their heart before they will follow you. And the more you can put out posts like that, where you're just pulling at their heartstrings and like being vulnerable, the more they're going to connect with you and want to follow you in particular over other coaches. The next thing is just to make the reader the hero of the story. And basically what this means is like, towards the end of the post, make it about them and not about you. sometimes my posts start out something about me, but then I turn it around and say something about them, like how they can improve this, or how they can go get their workout in, or something that makes them feel motivated to take action. That's what I mean about make the reader the hero of the story. How can they help themselves based on what I've written? And the last thing, don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Like I said, actually, I'm reading a book right now, and it's called Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. She has done tons of research on being vulnerable. And basically, the whole premise of the book is that good leaders are vulnerable. They talk about their mistakes. They talk about how they have to bounce back. They talk about, whatever obstacles are standing in their way, they share it, because we all have those obstacles. We all have problems. We're not perfect, and it's quite off-putting to pretend that we're perfect, honestly. People don't want to follow people who are perfect. And so just remember that sharing your struggles is actually very attractive, because people say, well, if she's struggling with that, it's okay if I am. And we just have to be the ones to kind of step out of our comfort zone and kind of be the light for those people, to help them feel like they're okay and that they can get through it. Oh, next one. All right, so here are some things that I want you to consider as you are thinking about posts. Some things that get a lot of engagement are what do you think kind of posts. Like if you have two things, like two different shirts you want to wear out on a date, which one do you think's better, this one or that one? Now, that's nothing about fitness, but it gets people to engage with you, and it gets them to kind of connect with you. So I really like those kind of posts, because then I see, who's kind of following me and who wants to give their opinion. Everybody likes to give their opinion, especially if it's like a 1 or 2 word answer. Sometimes I'll say A or B, left or right. I've done 2 separate moves and said, which one looks more fun to you, left or right? And those are the kind of posts where people want to give their opinions. And when they comment, guess what that does? It gets your posts out to more people. Some other things to consider is asking for advice. So just offhand, like when it was my husband's birthday, I said, I'm totally out of ideas. What would you guys get your husband? And then they comment. Again, that's just ways to get people involved with you. You're not trying to sell them anything. You're not trying to sign them up for anything, not even a free group. You're just asking them questions to connect with them. At the end of posts, having some kind of call to action is going to get more engagement. So if it's a question, like, what do you think about this? Or, I don't know, one of the ones I think I'm going to share is like, put a fist bump in the comment section or whatever. So give them something to do with your posts. That will get more engagement. I've noticed that people really love funny posts. I know there's a lot of serious stuff that goes on Facebook. And so just putting out some kind of humor, especially midday, that goes over really well. Now, you don't have to do it every day, but like just sprinkling it in here and there. Again, it connects people to you and provides some comic relief. And then the last one is, what are people asking you about? So if they're asking you what is a challenge group about in like private messaging or whatever, if they're asking you what coaching is about, that's a great idea to make a post about that, because then people can see it without feeling obligated. So I do that a lot. If I get a lot of messages and people are asking me about like specific moves, then I might make a post about, there's really not a specific move. You have to better your nutrition, etc. So just pay attention to those kind of things, and that can give you another idea. Okay. We doing all right? Okay, so here are some do's for your post. If you're doing videos, post them directly to Facebook. Facebook doesn't really like it if you are uploading to YouTube or sharing a video from YouTube. For some reason, it likes it when you upload a video directly from your phone or from your computer. So make sure that you don't upload one of your own videos to YouTube. Do post photos of yourself. This was really hard for me at first. I don't necessarily like putting myself out there, but people want to see who you are. They want to see what you're up to, and it helps people connect with you, and that's why they want to follow you, is seeing you. You know, if I only put up motivational quotes, then that's not saying anything necessarily about who I am or, you know, helping them get to know me. So make sure you take those selfies, even though they're uncomfortable. It's going to help people connect with you. This next one is something that I mess up with all the time. Read your post before you post it. Autocorrect is terrible. Right, Sandra? Sometimes we write things and I do a lot of voice dictation, and I'll hit post, and then I'll look back at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's not what I was trying to say. So I edit it, of course. I'm like the queen of editing all the time, rereading it and editing. But make sure that you do that right away, because you don't want posts out there that, you know, have the wrong words in them. And if you see one of our other coaches where that has happened, just send them a polite message, because none of us want that. Again, incorporate the appropriate spacing. Again, it's just easier to read. People want to get to the end when you have the spacing, whereas if it's all clumped, they don't care. They don't want to get to the end. It's too much. And then just be real. Be you. Share your struggles. Share your triumphs. Just be who you are. Try to knock down any like facades, because, you know, we're just trying to be real people here. All right. Here's some don'ts. Don't post your Beachbody URL ever. Like, if you are talking about a challenge group, at the bottom, don't ever put to order, go here. And actually, don't even put it in your about section or a place where anyone can see it. And the reason for that is we are not about selling. We are about making connections with people. We are about finding out what's going on with people and providing the appropriate solution. And so the link should not come into account until you have absolutely talked through all of the different struggles they have, how this can help them, and they are ready to order. Only when they're ready to commit should you send out any kind of ordering link or link to order at all. Because I don't know about you, but like on Instagram, these people that are doing It Works, it is so salesy. And it drives me crazy, because it's like, go here to order, the next 5 to call get $99 off. Like, it's very salesy. They don't ask any questions about what people are trying to accomplish. It's just about getting some, honestly, it seems like surface results. It's not about helping them gain confidence and feeling better and all of that. So don't post your URL. Don't ever copy someone else's posts unless you've asked them if you can use certain parts of it. Again, it's not your voice. You need to put in your voice, and you don't want someone to get upset with you for copying a post. So you can take what someone has written and kind of put it into your own words. Like, I'm kind of the queen of copycatting. Like, I follow a lot of the top coaches, and I don't take what they say, but I kind of take the idea of what they say and put it into my own words. And so that way it's mine. It's not them. don't necessarily brand yourself as a Beachbody coach. Like, be proud to be a Beachbody coach, but honestly, like, putting ourselves out there as like helping people find solutions to weight loss and feeling better is what we're all about, and creating relationships. And I just feel like if we put it out there all the time that we're a Beachbody coach, then it kind of can get a negative connotation. I know a lot of people have the wrong idea about what we do, and there's nothing we can really do about those people, but you don't want to put other people off. So like, just kind of talk about what's happened for you, how it's helped you. And honestly, your post should just kind of be a documentary about what you're doing, what's working for you, and just being a product of the product, that the workouts work, that Shakeology works, and that this is a true thing that will really help. Obviously, don't post anything negative. All of this surrounding Orlando, obviously you can put out a heartfelt post about that kind of thing, but it's what I mean by that is like, today sucks, or you know what I mean. That's not going to help people really want to follow you. Next one is, don't copy the same post from your personal page to your like page. If you want, so those of you that have like pages, what I would recommend that you do is you put the post on your like page and then you tag yourself, because what's going to happen is that post will come up once for the people who like your like page and they're your friend. You don't want to have multiple entries of the same post, because that gets annoying. If you don't have a like page, then this is not a problem.
Amy,
but just think
about.
about.
I'm gonna do that again, because I have been trying to do that and it's not working for me anymore.
What do you mean?
Can you tell us how you tag your personal page from your like page?
Sure, I'll actually show you how I do it.
Okay.
Is that okay? Because this is the last one. So also, do not neglect comments. When you comment on a comment, then that also helps your post go out to more people. The more comments that are on your post, the more people that see it. And that is obviously the goal of our posts. So always respond. I like to try to actually tag them in my comments so that they see it. And that way more people see it. All right, so I'm going to show you a couple here. I don't know what this one is. This was the one that I was talking about so this is my statement at the beginning. When I was in high school, people used to call me Thunder Thighs Thornton, okay? Now, it kind of goes through my journey about how I felt about my legs. I hated them. Now I love them. And then this is where I'm talking about making the person the hero of the story. So this is what I want people to take away from it. Like, try not to compare yourself. Speak nicely to yourself. And that way, like, that's what I want them to get out of my post. It's not necessarily, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like, I just want them to connect with the message that I'm trying to send, is that comparing is difficult and speaking nicely to yourself is difficult, but let's work together to kind of get it done. So I got likes and a lot of comments on that particular one. This is a funny one that got a lot of people liking it. So again, people love funny. They don't always need to have serious. So I think a nice mixture of, serious and funny are good. So this one is actually a challenge group invite. And my statements at the beginning were actually questions that I feel, and I know a lot of other moms feel too. And so what I was trying to do here was ask them, I was trying to connect with them and things that are difficult in the fitness realm when you have kids. So kid activities, eating off your kids' plates, you know, you don't take care of yourself. All of that was to help them connect with me and help them know that I understand them. I'm not some person up here like that is perfect and like doesn't understand your struggles. Like, I'm going through it with you too. So that's why I want to connect with them. And then down here is where I'm making them the hero of the story. Are you ready to take care of yourself too? Are you ready to turn your self-critical thoughts into positive, empowering thoughts? And then here is the call to action. Comment, I'm in, and I'll message you. Okay? So I got 75 likes, and you can see all the people that talked to me. So this one right here, this is what I want them to see. How many times have you started a fitness plan or tried to clean up your nutrition only to slide back by week's end? Everyone, right? I mean, how many of us have started off strong only to slide back by the weekend? Like, so that's what I want to grab their attention. And then here's where I want them to be the hero of their story. This week, I want to challenge you to give it all you've got. Don't listen to the whispers in your head. Now, honestly, if you look at a lot of my posts, how you talk to yourself is a big part of me. Like, I've come from a place of being negative inside my head. And so I want to connect with women who struggle with that because I get them. I understand what they're going through, and I want to help them get away from that. So that's where they're the hero of the story. And then here is their call to action. Shoot me a fist bump. So I didn't get a lot of likes, but I got a ton of comments here. Okay. People wanted to tell me they were ready to give it all they got, I guess. This one had nothing to do with fitness at all. This is one of those posts where I want people to kind of connect with me and give me some advice. So here's my statement. My husband thinks I'm nuts. Well, don't you want to read why he thinks I'm nuts? I don't know. So here's my call to action. I'm a newbie at this. Who's tried this? Any feedback or advice? So I got a lot of people commenting on there. Whoa. So that is the point, is honestly just to connect with people. It's not always to reel them in for a sale. It's just to help them want to be friends with me, I guess. This was another one. This is the last one, and then I'll show you how to post it to your page. So this was my attention-grabbing statement. I debated posting this, but then thought, no, I'm committed to staying real with you on this journey. So I tell my story, blah, blah, blah. And here's where I make them the hero of their story. Here's what I want them to do. Okay? Very self-saying negative things, etc. Okay? And I got 75 likes and all these people commenting. And I did not boost that one at all. So if you take a look at the spacing also, it's not one big glob of a paragraph. You know, all these different paragraphs make it easier to get to the end. Okay? All right, so I'm going to show you how to post it to your regular page. You have to be on a computer, which is the downside, because half the time I post something like with, on a light page, you can schedule a post. So oftentimes I'll schedule it and then walk away or go to bed or whatever. And I haven't shared it. So let's see which one I want to do. I'll just do this one. Okay, so all you have to do is click on the picture and then tag photo. Click on the picture. Oops. There you go. If I were to click on that, then it would say.
Mine doesn't come up.
What?
Mine doesn't come up. My name doesn't come up.
Did you type in your full name? You hit the button and then you
Now
clicked
I
on the
did.
picture?
It never used to come up. Like I was like, why was I able to do it before and then I couldn't do it? And then I had done tagging, and then if I go to my page, I should see it.
Yep.
Does it go back to the date that like it went, or should it be at the
Yeah.
top of my page?
No, it'll go the day that you posted it. But if you do it right away, it should be the top post in your personal
Okay,
page.
so like if I just did one from yesterday or whatever, if I have to scroll down to find it.
Yep.
Let me see if I see it. Okay. So doing it right away matters, because if I go back and find a post that I really like from last Thursday, it's going to pop up in my newsfeed for Thursday and no one's going to see it.
Exactly.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. All right, so that's what I've got. What questions do you have?
What was the call that you listened to that you mentioned that gave you the structure for writing your post? Is that
It was a Zoom call. It wasn't a call. So.
Was it the Zoom call with Jenny Swisher?
Yep.
You could probably Google that. She probably has that on her YouTube channel.
Okay.
Jenny Swisher, Power of the Post. It was in winter. She did a training on that as well.
Yep. So how many of you learned something new you can implement?
I'm going to try to do the tagging thing,
All right.
because I usually just share it to my page, but then I always have to like write something above the post and they actually have to click on it to like see it.
Right.
And I am going to try to do your structure of like a sentence to grab their attention and then something they can relate to and then like making them hear.
Post like
I'm going to try your structure.
On your like page?
Say that?
You post 3 times a day? Because like I feel like I get caught up in, oh my gosh, I have to post 3 times a day. I need to post a motivation, a food and a fitness thing, and then something on family. So 4 times a day. And if I'm going to spend 40 minutes trying to come up with a great post, it's not going to happen. And I won't do it. So I'm like, well, at least I got something out there. And I don't know if that's worse or better, or if it's better to do just one and make it be better.
Well, I've been trying to have a kind of a posting schedule, like a Monday motivation, transformation Tuesday,
right? I've done
workout
that.
Wednesday, like all of that. I try to post at least twice a day, sometimes 3, and sometimes even 4, but generally.
And you spend at least a half hour on most of those posts, each one?
No, not each one.
No?
No, like I did my lunch this afternoon. That probably took 5 minutes.
Okay.
They're not all long.
The ones that you're really trying to grab people's. So how often would you say you spend a good half hour on a post? Like 1 post a day?
Probably.
Honestly, I don't think I've ever spent, not ever, but very rare that I spent a half hour. And I don't think my posts get near as much attention as yours.
I would say at least, I would say probably once a day.
Really?
Yeah.
That just means I need to spend a lot more time. And I'm not an English major like you. I'm not as creative, but I think that format, like you kind of said, if I could just start with that, even if it's basic and simple, maybe not as catchy, but
yeah,
I like it. And I've heard it before. You hear things and then you forget and you don't do them, and then you're like, oh, that's right. I was supposed to do it like that.
Yep.
Did you say that you dictate like your posts into your phone?
I do.
You just do it like onto Facebook, or you like dictate it and then like on the recording and then type it out?
So like I go to my Facebook like page. I'm going to see if you can see it. So then I just hit like if I have a photo. So I don't know if you can see this. So I just put the photo. Yeah. And there's nothing written there. And then right above it, I just say, hey, baby. And then it shows up.
Ah.
But it's funny because you have to say your periods and your commas and all that. And so like, I know I've sent you a voice message before, and I'll be talking and I'll say, I'll say, Andrea, how are you doing today? Period. And I'm like, oh, darn it. This is like in real life. Instead of dictating.
Because see, I notice a lot of times what I do is if I write out, like if I have an idea to write out a post and I sit down and I write it, I get very like, I don't know, not like me. But then if I step away from it and I just think it in my head, it sounds so much more like me.
Mm-hmm.
I go back and I edit it after I've done it because that's what I'm thinking. If I dictate it, it'll sound more like me than me like scripting something out just to type it.
Right.
I'm going to try that.
Yep, that'll work.
I have a question about a post. Is being new to Beachbody with doing the challenge groups and stuff like that, is I came across some pictures from quite a while ago when I started my journey of weight loss, and I didn't do it all with this accountability group, but right now where I'm at is more of being in a maintaining state. Is it bad to post a picture from, even though my weight loss journey was through different other products, but yet getting to where I'm at? I mean, is that something that's worth posting or not? Or
Absolutely. I think it's worth posting. It's a part of your journey. And even though it was different products or whatever, like it's still a part of your story. And you can kind of share the mental part of what you went through as you started your journey, because so much of this journey is mental, and people don't necessarily talk about that aspect that much, but it's so important. It's like maybe even bigger than the physical part. And so I think it's really important for you to put that out there.
Because I mean, I came across this picture, and actually it's, for me looking at it right now, it's not a flattering picture, but yet in the same aspect, if someone was to see that and where I'm at now, it would probably be something that would prompt them to say, hey, I didn't realize she was that heavy.
Yep,
and I mean, I look at that picture, and like they say, a picture's worth 1,000 words. And just looking at that, at where I was at that point, I can associate where someone might be right now at that point for starting this. Like the accountability thing is, that's where that through my journey, that's what has worked, is accountability with, if it's checking in with someone weekly or whatever. But this, I have to admit, where we are now with the accountability group is on a daily basis is huge. And I don't even have to leave my house. I don't have to find a sitter for my kids. They're getting to the point where we don't need a sitter, but yet in the same aspect, I don't have to figure out care for them, a meal, if sometimes it may involve a meal. But anyways, and I guess that's kind of what is spinning around my head is sharing, because right now I'm really struggling with where to start. But I'm glad that you shared that tag thing, because I don't have hardly any likes to my page, but I want to put it out to my friends, because I think it's going to attract. And I guess one story that I can share is on Friday night, my kids are in a running club, and we did we had our wrap up of the end of the year running club meal, and we were standing in line, and actually she's a grandma, one of the grandmas said, she goes to me, she goes, what is all this Shakeology stuff about? And then I gently explained it. I didn't go too crazy about it, because I don't want to turn her off. But then the sad part about it is my sister was there, and my sister's like, well, it's really expensive. And I'm like, oh, really, Jenny? but she's watching what I'm posting. It kind of proved that she's watching what I'm posting because she was inquiring about it. I mean, not on Facebook, she was inquiring about it. So obviously for that person, it was effective.
Absolutely. All right, Sandra's going to have to stop recording because she has to go with a friend. So go ahead and stop recording, and then if you have any,
so you guys can just still use my Zoom.
Okay.
Stuff. I'm waiting for her text back. She said, never mind. Oh, wait, I need you. Never mind. So my friend needs me, I'll be gone. If not, you guys can keep talking and then I'll just have my husband turn it off.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Yeah. So bye.